Hello, everybody. Does anybody have their mic on to say hello?
Good morning.
Good morning, Latasha. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you guys doing?
Good.
I got one more thing to set up, so just give me a few minutes.
Okay. So I put together my buyer's presentation thanks to you.
Yay! Awesome, Anne. I'm so happy for you. Send it to me. I want to see it.
Okay.
All right.
I got a few things I need to just take in and take out that Nicole suggested. We don't do that. You got to take this out. You don't do this. We got to take that out. Okay.
But no, that's progress. That's awesome.
I know. It's just.
That's super cool. And then Lucy, you and I are going to meet tomorrow via Zoom, correct? I think you muted yourself. Let me change my name. All right, so it's 10 o'clock, so we're going to go ahead and get started. So welcome all. Thank you so much for coming. And so can you all see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. Come on. You still can see it? Perfect. Okay. All right, so today we're going to do, you have heard about it, but what we're going to do is, this is going to be a two-part series. So the first one is going to be part one, and we're going to talk about proven marketing strategies, essentials for Facebook. And so just as a friendly reminder, my new Tech Concierge 1002 email, please send any questions, comments, anything tech command related, designs in command, essentially all command. Please send those to me, and I need to turn off my phone. And so my new hours, which I'll repeat it again at the end, are 8 a.m. to noon. And so if you have an urgent need or need something after hours and or on the weekend, reach out to Robert. I will give you a heads up that we are coming out very soon with a ticket system. And so the ticket system is going to go into effect when I'm not working, so we can just make sure we track all of your open tickets or any questions or concerns. I do want to mention that Monday, Wednesday, and Friday I'm in Whalers, and then Tuesday I'm in Kahului, and Thursday I am in South Kihei. So once we do get back to face-to-face meetings, you can start booking appointments with me directly. So that would be awesome. Okay. So what we're going to do is the overview today. We're going to do the marketing style guide from Principal Broker. We're going to share that information. If you have not seen that, make sure that it was emailed at the Week at a Glance on last Friday, the complete guide. And it's also on MyKW. So you go to MyKW, you log into MyKW. From MyKW, you go into Market Center. Market Center, you go into Documents, and I'll repeat it. And then Documents, you want to look into Marketing. And then in the Marketing folder, it'll say Marketing and Style Guide. And so those are all the style guides for what you need to do in terms of making sure you're in compliance. That does not mean that you don't need to email Michelle, but what that does is it speeds up the process. So Michelle's not saying, oh, do this, do that. So again, if you haven't seen it, I'll try to also keep it in the Week at a Glance again this Friday. But again, if you didn't get it, go to MyKW, Market Center, then Documents. Within Documents, you're going to look for Marketing folder. And then in the Marketing folder, it should say Marketing and Style Guide. Then we're also going to do a check-in just to make sure that you have your profile marketing check done, which I always do that all the time just to make sure people that are joining me for the first time, making sure that you do that. The reason why I'm always going to emphasize that is because if you have any issues with information not being in your website or any part of Command or your Kelly app, it's always good to check that marketing profile to make sure that that information is correct. So then we're going to get into the meat of it, which is marketing strategies. We're going to take a look at the Facebook essentials that you're going to need for part 2, which will be making sure you have a personal page. If you don't have one, make sure you get one. Making sure you have a business page. If you don't have one, I will go over that in terms of what you need for a business page. And then how to set up your Facebook account manager account so that once we get to step 2 in 2 weeks, you'll be ready to go. All right. So first question, as always, if you can start chatting with me in the chat box, tell me what you want to get out of this workshop. And for those of you that have been a part of my classes, you know I do this all the time, but I want to hear from you what you expect to get out of this workshop. So anything that I don't cover, and that we need to make sure we integrate in part 2, I want to be able to do that. So if you can very quickly go into the chat and just type in what you're looking to get out of this class to make sure that if I don't address it today, I definitely will do when Robert and I tag team in 2 weeks for part 2. So take a few minutes and do that really quick for me. And then I am going to see if I want to read some of them if I can get to it. All right, so no one has any, oh, here we go. Oh, wow. So how to do a Facebook personal and business page. I also need to learn how to do Facebook ad. Awesome, okay. So we will definitely cover basically the first part of that, and then the second one in terms of how to do a Facebook ad, that's going to be part 2, but this is going to be the beginning to get you ready to do your Facebook ads. But we'll touch on it, but we won't get into detail about the Facebook ad in this one, but we will make sure we get there. And then Ann says how to post a Facebook ad and how to just do a quick post. Awesome, okay. So we may be able to touch base on that a little bit, but we'll go into greater detail in part 2 as well. Anyone else? Terry, how to do a Facebook ad? Got it. Sounds great. Thanks. Okay, gotcha. Awesome. Okay. So, profile and marketing. So, for those of you that haven't joined me, is your command profile settings complete? So if you can give me a thumbs up or something, let me know. And profile settings complete. Okay. What is your marketing strategy? Can someone share with me who's your target audience? And there's a reason why I'm asking this. Can someone share with me who your target audience is?
As in the target market or target audience?
Target audience,
difference.
Market in terms of who are you targeting? So whether some of you may, so buyers and sellers, but specifically who? So the reason why I'm asking that is when you're talking about a marketing strategy and how to maximize your Facebook, you need to know who exactly you're targeting. Yes, you're targeting to buyers, but what type of buyers? There's a difference in terms of level of buyers, meaning that this is their second home. So you have to really dial down into, it's not just buyers, but you need to dial in further in terms of identifying the type of buyers so that you can maximize your Facebook ad. So if it's a specific buyer, so who is the ideal buyer that wants to or can purchase either a second home, third home, or even a first home? What does that buyer look like? Can someone share with me?
Are you talking?
Just talking in terms of somebody who in terms of you're looking at a normal profile of your average, and I know there's no such thing, but in terms of, occupation and or, amount of money, who are you targeting in terms of the buyer? What type of person is going to come to Maui and want to purchase? What are some scenarios that would allow someone or want someone or that someone would be motivated, have a desire, and the means necessary that don't live on Maui that want to purchase on Maui?
I would say cash buyers who are looking to escape the mainland, cash out of the mainland and purchase on Maui, either single family or like if they have $1 million to spend, or if they're looking for a vacation rental property.
Great. So I see some comments coming by. Yeah, second investors. I see age ranges. So the reason why I ask that is because you can't just say buyers. You got to dial in and make sure that you are targeting the people that are going to respond to your ad. So not just buyers, but look at their age. Look at, their discretional income. You also have to look at the region. So for example, let me take a step back. When I do event planning, most of my leads come from Australia, Canada, New York, and California. So it doesn't make any sense for me to do a Facebook ad for someone in Oregon. Not that there may not be somebody there, but I've looked at the statistics and I know those are my buckets of where I'm going to get my clients from. Does that make sense what I'm saying? So just make sure that not just buyers, but dial in terms of what type of buyer.
Latasha, can you say that again? What were those states? And can you please remove that give subtitles a try pop-up?
There you go. Oh, okay. Why is it?
I don't see her page.
So do you see the slides?
I don't see the slides. I did something on my Zoom. I don't know what I did. It disappeared.
Okay. So can you see me at all?
No, I see you. I see everybody, but I just don't see the slides.
Okay.
If I need to log out and log back in.
Yeah, go ahead and log back out or log out and log back in. You should see the slides. Everyone else, do you see them?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Oh,
Maybe change your view at the top right. That could help as well.
yeah, I think that's what I did.
Showing the next slide right now, but it's better to have it big on the screen with only the primary slide.
Okay, so somebody asked me to repeat it. So in terms of buyers, for me, when I do event planning, I'm looking at people from Canada, from Australia, and from California and New York. And the reason is because I looked at these stats, my Facebook stats, in terms of when I do run Facebook ads, who are the people that I'm not only getting responses, but I'm actually booking. with them. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, so let's look, do you have a tagline or slogan? We're going to get into that as getting ready to make sure you're effectively marketing on Facebook. Do you have a brand and is it consistent? So that's what you want to look at. Once we start getting into the Facebook ad per se, you want to make sure that the look and feel of your Facebook posts and any type of content is consistent. Not just consistent with your logo, but consistent with the feel of what you're going after. So for us, you know, whether it's me when I'm talking about my staging or event planning, or you for real estate, your target is really that luxury market, those people that can afford this, correct? And so you just want to make sure that the brand and the image and the feel is very luxury and very accommodating to that type of service you want to provide. So what story are you telling in your marketing strategy? So when you're inconsistent with your marketing brand or strategy, that's a story, that's a discombobulated story that you're telling your potential buyer. So you just want to make sure that it's consistent. And I'm going to give you a couple of tips, several tips to make sure you're consistent. All right, so this is really cool. You'll be able, if for those of you that want a copy of the PowerPoint, just in the chat, make sure you say I want a copy because I can forward this to you or send it to you. So this is the social media post guidelines. And this is direct, I pulled this directly from Michelle's marketing and style guide. So in terms of social media posts, make sure that you have your Market Center DBA logo. You include your ownership statement in terms of each office independently operated, and then make sure that you're in compliance with local board and commission laws. And so it just shows you here, it shows this example of Annie Smith in terms of she's got her DBA, she's got her logo, she's got all of that information to make sure that when you're doing social media posts, that you're making sure you have all of that information in there. And again, I can send that to you, and it's also on my KW.
Latasha, so you pulled up Facebook from command? I never even done that yet.
Oh, so let me back up. So this is from Michelle's marketing and style guide that is on my KW live internet. So this is totally different. So this was the guidelines that I talked about early on in terms of making sure that you're in compliance. So that's what that is. So that's not directly from command. So sorry if I gave you that impression. Okay, so the next one, Marketing Trinity. This is really key. As we begin to shift, not only from command standpoint, but in terms of how society is shifting. If you haven't consistently started text messaging in terms of an actual campaign, viable campaign, you want to really seriously consider that, because that's what a lot of the market professionals are starting to encourage people. So your Trinity, if you will, is your website, your text messages, and social media. The cool thing about command is you can link your Twilio account and you can begin to send text messages from there. And then social media. So SEO, does everyone know what I say or what I mean by SEO?
No.
So SEO is search engine optimization. You need to make sure, I would encourage you to make sure that you begin to really track your SEO analytics. The reason why I knew my 4 target regions is because I looked into my SEO and wanted to know, like, for example, those are the 4 regions. The people that are more inclined to do business with me from a staging and or event planning are 30 to 50 years old, or really 30 to 40. That's my sweet spot. So you need to know all of these things, because what that is going to help you make your Facebook ad that much more powerful and impactful, so you're not wasting a lot of money. But I will say this to you, because we have the platform or the algorithm with Facebook, your ads are already going to go to the top. But in general, you want to make sure that you are looking at your SEO and you're being able to integrate that. So I know that there's a chat that just came up. Let me make sure I'm not missing anything. Do you not? Oh, sorry. So, whoops. Okay, so that's the first thing. And the question that you want to ask yourself is, what does your social media tell you? Or excuse me, your SEO tell you? How many of you have looked at your SEO analytics? Just raise your hand, give me a thumbs up or something. How many of you have looked in your SEO? So that's one of the things we're also going to look into part 2, but I want to make sure that you do. Okay, so we're going to make sure that you know how things. In part 2, we're going to actually go to your analytics so that you can actually see that and be able to produce that information, because what that's going to do is guide you into, when you start creating your posts, who you're targeting to. So then the next one is, the first one is website. The top 5 must-haves for a website. You want to make sure your homepage is minimal. Your design is important. Making sure it's readable and user-friendly and mobile. Those are your key things. Some of you have been in some of my classes before. One of the things that's starting to really gain traction outside of just real estate, but in general in industries, are people are going back to one-page websites. Why do you think that is? Why do you think that a lot of people are starting to go back to one-page websites?
Because people don't want to read much.
Yeah, you have to look at it like this. When you get ready to do your marketing or your Facebook posts, you got to look at, this is my rule of thumb. If I can't capture your attention in 30 to 60 seconds, then I haven't done my job. You have to be able to, in your posts, in your website, in your social media, and in your text messages, you got to, in that first 30 to 60 seconds, you got to be able to grab the attention of your potential buyer or client and then keep that attention. So then text messages, the top 5 are great subject line. How many of you will not read something because the subject line is boring? So look at it from a client perspective. Make sure you've got a great hook. Real value to subscribers. What are you offering? What's that added value? Keep it short, specific, to the point, and don't overdo it. And integrate some variety. So let's look at the next one. So social media, the top 5. You want to make sure you have the objective, whatever your objective is. We're going to talk about that a little more. Use IG and Twitter as search engines. Does everyone understand what I mean by that? So let me break that down. Even if you don't use Twitter and or IG, Instagram, the one thing that I would encourage you to do is just go in there. And for example, someone share with me a hashtag that's related to real estate. What would be a good hashtag?
Great deal.
Great deal, okay? So then what you want to do is you would go into your Twitter and or IG and you would type in hashtag great deal or hashtag buyer or hashtag first buyer, hashtag my first home, hashtag ready to sell, those kind of things. And what that does, it gives you all the people that have used that hashtag, which becomes what? Your potential
clients.
So use it as a search engine to expand your database. That's an easy way to do it. It's the proven, I mean, all industries do that. When I do my my hashtags, and the one thing I will say about hashtags, don't go overboard. You can have a consistent hashtag that you use. For example, outside of here, my business, I use hashtag Little Details LLC, which drives people back to my, to my social media platform. However, each post has a specific hashtag. So if I'm posting asking about staging, then I'll say hashtag staging, hashtag Maui stager, hashtag, you know what I mean? So you have to make sure that all of your hashtags are specific to your post. Okay. Create content for your third-party platforms, and i.e. contributor blogs. So look at creating blogs, look at working with other people to be a guest blog writer, because what that does is that gives you access to other people's sphere of influence. And then private mastermind groups. Look at it as like this. Sometimes you feel like you maybe are not that experienced and maybe I shouldn't, you know, try to do a mastermind group, but you can do a mastermind group. You can do a mastermind group with beginning agents. And so look into doing stuff like that to create a group or to create a team so that you can add more credibility to your social media profile. And then you want to keep up to date, but don't chase the trends. Couple of key things I want to mention. Facebook, update your cover page. That is so key. How many of you consistently change your Facebook cover page? Sharon?
I had a custom one made about a year ago. It's like a video advertisement, so I haven't changed it recently.
So here's the thing. I change my Facebook cover page about every other quarter, and especially if I'm doing like a big event, or I will change my Facebook cover page, because what that does is, first of all, it creates interest with my followers. They know that I'm actively doing stuff when they see my Facebook cover change. Number two, when you create or add or update another Facebook or a Facebook cover page, it generates a new post to all of your followers. And so you're constantly doing another soft touch of marketing if you do that. You don't have to go overboard with that, but I would say oftentimes our cover pages are prime for the picking. We don't realize the magnitude of how we can leverage those. And so I would say, don't be afraid to, you know, spice it up. And, you know, you could do it every 4 years. You could do it once a quarter, however you want to do it, especially if you've got
Maybe could you look at mine? Because I did pay someone to create it.
Yeah, I'd be more than happy to. Someone needs to mute themselves. I'm not sure who it is. I'm trying to find it.
The most common and cost-effective is email. Email newsletters.
Sharon.
Is it Sharon?
To the rest of the story.
Sharon, VJ, could you? Let's see. Let me go back up.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
thanks. Okay. So Michelle, going back to you, yes, I'd be more than happy to look at it. If you're going to be in the office tomorrow, I'll definitely take a look at it. But I would say that would be a very soft touch to do, and something that you want to definitely leverage. Also consider leveraging your email signatures. If you haven't done that before, make sure that your email signatures link directly back to your socials. For you guys, for real estate, I would definitely, you have to have your link to your Facebook page, because since you have that algorithm with guidance from Gary Keller, make sure that you're having that in your email signature. Any type of special listings that you're doing, any events that you're tag teaming with people, make sure that you leverage your email signatures. And then tag places or locations on your social media posts. So make sure you're tagging the locations, because then you can do a hashtag on those and start, you know, leveraging and getting more contacts, generating leads that way. And then have a show versus tell approach. So what do you think I mean by show versus tell approach? What's a show versus tell? What's show versus tell?
Like maybe more videos than just text. Like you could shoot a small video and post it.
Exactly. Exactly. So videos are the way to go. You definitely, if you're not doing videos, you need to do them. There's so many different platforms out there that are free that you can do. If you're a Mac user, you can generate videos using your Mac. So don't be afraid to do that. Even if it's a short video, even if it's just something you do on your phone, but definitely you want to show versus tell. So, you know, making sure that you've got those images of listings. If you don't have listings, then, you know, show stuff about what you do in terms of the industry. You know, what are the industry, you know, latest trends, or, you know, what are people looking for? So you don't feel like, oh, I don't have a listing, so I can't do that. Make sure that you have a show, basically visual versus let me tell you.
So Latasha, I have a good example of that.
Yes.
So it's not a video, but I'm working with Michelle Del Rosario on a listing, and the seller got stuck on the mainland, and so we ended up, the house was filled with stuff, so we ended up, with the seller's permission, of course, going through the entire property and getting it ready to sell. And so we took before and after pictures to show, like, we're agents that go above and beyond. So we showed the house filled with stuff, and then we showed the house ready, you know, clean and staged, you know, just to demonstrate, you know, the before and the after. And it's amazing. Every time I show the before and after picture to people, they're always like, oh, wow, that's amazing. You guys are amazing. So it's like, you know, if there's a way for you, it doesn't always have to be video, but if there is a way for you to show the story that you are an amazing agent, then that's probably what you should be doing.
Yes. So you can definitely do videos and pictures. Before and afters are awesome. Even just think about this. Even if you don't have a listing, but you're doing, you're going to caravans, you take pictures of going up to the walkway or driving up to the gate if there's a gated community. So all of those things, little things like that, you can use to tell the story. So, you know, especially for the newer agents, you know, you can still promote, you know, the caravans and things that you go through in terms of not disclosing anything that will go against the seller or the listing agent, but just all those outside things, just the neighborhood. You can just take images of the neighborhood. You don't have to, you know, that will keep you in compliance, but just little things like that go a long way to create that story, adding credibility to who you are. Yes, I know what's going on in the industry. I know what's on the market. And then having that show versus tell. So the next one is question. How long is your marketing Trinity bio? So take a look at your website. How long is your bio on your website? When you look at Facebook, we're going to talk about Facebook specifically, and I'm going to also give you a grid to making sure you tighten up your bio for your Facebook page. And then all your social media platforms. One of the things that I'm seeing as I work with a lot of people in Command, when I look at your Command bios, I see letters. To interject a joke, it's like, I'm not sure if you want to date the client or if you're trying to sell the client. So it's just one of those things where you got to take a look at it. Some of the bios that I've seen are like 1 page, 2 pages long. You got to be able to really hone in on what you're trying to do. So we're going to talk about that specifically and how to be impactful. But take a look at those bios, because some of the bios that I'm starting to see are really long and really jam-packed with a lot of information. Not discrediting that information, but find a way to repackage that. So in that 30 to 60 second, snapshot, can you, entice someone to continue to read your bio?
So Latasha, what would be your recommendation as far as word count?
So word count for Facebook is easy because the word count is 155. But in general, I would say you would want to keep it to a paragraph if you can, 2 paragraphs at the max, and keeping in mind that an average paragraph is going to be 5 to 6 sentences. Definitely don't have semicolons and all that stuff, you know, going on to try to add your sentences. But I would say try to keep it in the 1 paragraph to 2 paragraph, because you really want to nail down exactly what you're trying to do. Because sometimes, yes, that information is great, and you know, you want to celebrate your accomplishments, but you also want to keep in mind that you're trying to win the seller. You're trying to win a client. So that's what I would recommend. Does that answer your question, Riley?
Yes.
Okay. So here's, you know, just kind of my own take on this and doing some research and where the market is from a marketing standpoint. This is the perfect scenario for a Facebook bio. You want to make sure that your bio, you're sharing your value proposition. What do you bring to the table? Make sure that that's clear, upfront, and just simple. The next thing is keep in mind SEO. So what I mean by that is you want to make sure that keywords and or phrases, so obviously real estate, you want to put in Maui, you want to have, you know, listing, buyers, all of those things need to be in professional, industry expert, all of those things, keywords and phrases need to be in your bio so that when you begin to really gain traction on your social media platforms, i.e. SEO, you will start circulating and floating up to the top when it comes to tracking an SEO standpoint. So making sure that those keywords and our phrases are in your bio. You also want to have a call to action. How many of you have a call to action? In your bio, take a look at it. Does it say call me? Does it say, I'm your girl or whatever, however you want to wordsmith it? Making sure that your bio has a call to action. A call to action is so important. And then making sure that you add links and or landing pages to your bio. This is specifically for Facebook, but it also applies to any other place where your bio is going to be on social media. Be visual. Make sure that you're telling a story that really resonates with your potential clients, your potential buyers. And then you want to maximize your real estate skills. So for the new agents, I know this may be, you're just getting started, so you may not necessarily think you have skills, but you do. What's your personality? What is your strong suit? Are you a good communicator? Do you care about people? Look at your actual personal attributes and put that in to your bio so that you can begin to leverage that. And then the more and more traction you get, then you can really become that certified resource. But you want to make sure that read your bio or have a friend read it, or you can, send it to me and I'll read it as a third party, person. And to say the key thing you want to do is be able to take a step back and say, am I presenting myself as a resource? Do I have a call to action? Am I also going to put this out there? Is it going to help me on my SEO? So all of these things you need to keep in mind when you're doing your Facebook bio. So I'm going to stop talking for a quick minute and see if there's any questions. I'm going to look at the chat too. Are there any questions about this part?
I had no idea that you can put links in a bio. I always thought bio just, it's just text, but this is interesting. Or visual. You already have your photo on the profile. So what visual are you talking about, for example?
So be visual means create a picture. So when you're writing, you want to write like almost like a storyteller. You know what I mean? So that's where I mean, go back to like being a resource. So making sure that your writing is not stagnant. And, I can definitely help in that regard. But when I say be visual, I mean, make sure that you have lively, vibrant words. You know what I mean? So making sure that, instead of just saying, Latasha lives next door, she's a great person kind of thing, make sure that you add those, adjectives, those phrases, that value proposition. I'm a knowledge seeker, or, I aggressively go after, what's best for my clients. That word aggressive makes it very visual. So those kind of words. Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you. And what's the example of call to action? Can you do an example, please?
Yeah, so call to action is like, something as simple as call me. That could be a call to action. Or if you're, you know, if you're saying, you know, I am the industry expert in short sales, then say, you know, need to sell your short home today, or need to short sell your home, call me today, or something like that. So a call to action is basically telling them, I need you to do this. Do you have that in your bio? So just making sure you do that.
Yeah. Oh, thank you.
Good questions. Any other questions? I saw something in the chat. I wanted to make sure I covered. Someone said the side is too small. I have a slide that I'm specifically going to go to, so that's the next one. So, but we'll get to that. I'll enlarge that. Yes, I'll definitely send that. Okay, so let's move on. And this is the actual example that we're going to move forward to. Here we go. All right, so here's the big one, or it enlarges the great bio. So this is on Facebook, and I actually pulled this on Facebook. So this is like, once you create your Facebook page, this is like a summary, but this is the actual, pretty much the first couple of sentences, but it gives you a good idea. So you have the start date of this person, if they founded, you know, on Facebook, or they joined Facebook in 2002, or excuse me, the company was founded. They have their affiliations. They have Facebook marketing expert, social media thought leader. So again, those are those things that make you unique, that make you stand out. And again, they put their Twitter, you know, links in there. So that goes back to the links that I was talking about. Short descriptions. So social media thought leader. When you think about short description, you want to make sure that you're being specific to the point about what you're going to do for your client. So this particular person is a marketing expert. So they're a social media thought leader, or you can say real estate leader, or however you want to say it, premier marketing expert, an author, a speaker. So all of those things they quickly did in their short description, and then they put their link to their Twitter, because they use Twitter, and then they use their Instagram link as well. If you don't have that, which you will have, hopefully, even if you're just using them for hashtags or SEO, or search engines, excuse me, definitely want to do that. Then the other thing that I want to highlight, they have, you know, the company overview, mission, bio. The bio we're going to get back to within the products. They have Inner Circle with Marie Smith. She's basically, that's her mastermind group, if you will. If you take a look at her bio, it says Marie Smith is one of the world's leading social media strategists and widely recognized as one of the top Facebook marketing. And that kind of sets the tone for the bio. So going back to what I said in terms of what makes a great bio, even just that first partial sentence, what does that say? It says, focus on all the key words. She's saying she's giving herself credibility. She's saying she's one of the world's leading social media strategists, widely recognized as one of the top Facebook marketing. That's going to entice people to want to do business with Marie, and or at the very least, log in to see more, to see who she's about. So on the right-hand side, I said, include your specialties, history, story of your business, and meet the owner, show your personality. So when it comes to creating a great bio in Facebook, you want to make sure that you list your skills, make sure your skill set is in there. If you're extremely organized, make sure that that's in there somewhere. What are the key SEO words for real estate? Making sure those SEO words are in there. And then again, I had already mentioned this with Riley's comment or question. Keep in mind that Facebook will only allow you for your bio to have 155 characters. So if you can have a action-packed bio and 155 words, that's going to maximize everything else that you're doing. And you can use that as a platform for all your other your websites and all your other social media bios. You can keep that in mind. You can add some words, but I would start there for those of you that need to redo it. I would start there in terms of coming up with 155 character limit, and then adding it to refresh your command bio. That is where I would start. Any questions before I keep moving?
So, Natasha, is this like an example of a bio if it shows up in your business Facebook page? Is this what it is?
Yes. So this is like a summary. Excuse me. So if you want to create your Facebook ad, which we'll get to, or excuse me, your Facebook account, sorry, it'll ask you a series of questions. And then from there, you'll be able to enter your bio. So I would say your homework assignment is, if those of you that don't have a Facebook business page, you want to take, and I will email you this PowerPoint presentation, take those nuggets that I'm giving you and create a 155 character limit bio, so that when you get ready to do your Facebook business page, you already have your bio.
Oh, okay. That's excellent. Yeah, thank you. That would be very helpful. Thank you so much.
All right. Let's move on. So that's the perfect bio. Let me go back. And that's the example, at least the first line. So maximizing your brand on Facebook. Step one, post every day. I know that's a challenge. And if it is, consider posting 3 or 4 times a week. I would recommend that you do this, create some sort of system. So for me, I typically post on my social media platforms Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. Get a schedule that works for you. The beauty about any platform is you can get third-party sites, and you can, over the weekend, if you've got a little more time, you can pre-post all of your stuff and schedule that. But primarily for me, I do Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and Saturday. The reason why I do Monday is because a lot of people get their week started out with Monday. And so I like to kind of be top of mind on Monday. Wednesday, people are kind of in that hump day mode. And so I'm reminding them again, something that I want to post about whatever I'm doing, or just making sure I'm top of mind. Friday is great because I'm kind of, again, top of mind. They're getting ready to go off to the weekend. So then another touch point for me in terms of, hey, I'm out there kind of thing. And then on Saturday, I just love to do it because then it just kind of sets the tone for the weekend. So, obviously it's preferred from a marketing guru standpoint. Not that I'm a guru, but those other people that are, they definitely say, post every day. Just with my schedule, I just can't do it. I'm sure that if I made it a priority, I could. But the one thing that I wanted to do is I wanted to be consistent. And that's the key thing that I'll say. If you cannot be consistent posting every day, then even if you have to do 1 day a week, or 1 day a week or 2 days a week, be consistent in that. It's about consistency. So don't beat yourself up if you can't post every day or even 3 to 4 times a week. If you can't do that, start where you can and then build up from there. Sometimes I do, when I post Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, sometimes I do multiple posts. So it just really depends, just make sure you're consistent in whatever you do. And that's going to maximize your brand. That's going to maximize your reach. The second step is engage with your local community by commenting on responding posts. So making sure that people that you follow or businesses that you follow, making sure you actually write in content in their posts, words like great picture, didn't know that. I mean, not emojis. Emojis are great, but adding words in there, because the more you start commenting on other people's posts, those people that they're in their sphere of influence, they'll start seeing you post on a regular basis, and they'll say, oh, who is Michelle Belch? Let me go, click on her bio and see what she's all about, kind of thing. So making sure that you do that, and then incorporate live Facebook videos. So just making sure whether they're, recorded videos, definitely make sure you do that, but definitely start doing live videos. And live videos will show up on your people that follow you on their feed. Hey, Michelle's posting today. And so it's just another tag, another reminder that helps your SEO optimization for your social media platform.
So, Latasha, I have a question.
Yes.
What do you think about sharing the content from your Facebook page into groups like Maui Bound or all these other large Facebook groups?
Yeah, so I actually do that. So, you know, my personal opinion, you're asking, I think it's great. You just have to be very careful about that. And I'll give you an actual concrete example, Riley, and hopefully that this will kind of solidify it. So within the event industry that I'm in, one of the things that we haven't done is just kind of help each other in terms of, you know, dealing with the pandemic and where does the event industry go next in terms of not having events. And so I'm doing a free Zoom about what's next for the industry. How can we make sure that we're setting up our business for success? So, you know, I'm on the Maui community on Facebook. And so that is the stuff that I post on there. And so I try to be very careful about, you know, not being too sales pitchy, but at the same time, treating it like a resource. That's the best way that I'll say it, right? Making sure that whatever you're posting on these groups, that you present yourself as a resource. Yes, you do have a service to offer, but just make sure that whatever you're posting comes back to, am I presenting myself as a resource? So that's the guiding line, the guiding light, I would say. That's what I've done, and that's what has worked for me. I don't get into, you know, if you're selling your home, I don't do that. I kind of approach it from, let me present or show you that I'm an industry leader. So if you come at it that way, I think it's going to be more palatable, if I can talk correctly, to people that see your post. Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. And then in corporate, we talked about live Facebook posts. Any other questions before I move on? Just double checking the chat. Yeah, so Michelle Belcher was saying I was been told not to advertise real estate. Yes, just making sure, you know, you don't have to advertise. Here's the thing. If you say something like, you know, what's going on in the industry, like where the real estate industry is, things that you need to know about the real estate industry, put that on, you know, whatever the post is or whatever the community that you belong to. Yes, technically, if you want to get into semantics, you're promoting yourself, but you're promoting yourself in a very soft touch marketing perspective. You're just saying, here's the industry trends. They want to learn more about Michelle or whoever, then they can click on your link and get more information. So if you come about it that way, it's a soft marketing touch, and that's what I want to stress. All right, next one. So these are some marketing ideas. Let me make sure I'm good on time. Yes, I am. Okay, so these are all, now let me take a step back. These can be for any social media platform. These are strategies that I use, all of the top marketing gurus use. These are things that are effective, but specifically right now we're talking about Facebook, because we're also going to, in part two, really dial in and make sure that everybody's up and running and can do the Facebook, advertise through command on Facebook. So a couple of marketing or several marketing ideas. Again, I can email this to you, but they're local marketing quiz in terms of making sure that you integrate some sort of quiz, contest, or a poll. If you're going to do something like that, just make sure it's short, it's simple, it's a 2-question, 1 question, no more than 3, just to make sure you keep the interest level of your audience. Offer home evaluations. Going back to what Riley mentioned, you know, making sure that you have those visuals, those imagery, not videos, but pictures of before and after, you know, making sure that you add that component to it. Creating the short videos about you and your brokerage. The key thing that I will say is make sure that you definitely want to have videos about your being an industry expert or building yourself as an industry expert, but also make sure you have short videos about you and kind of, you know, what it's like to work with you. You can do those in a soft marketing way where every once in a while you just post about you and your journey in the real estate business. So those are always great once you begin to build your following. So reach out to your sphere across multiple platforms. Begin text messaging campaigns, which I talked about earlier. Work with local companies to create special events for your listings or exposure for what you do. So if you don't have listings, maybe you want to have a special event, but what I would do is I would incorporate a local business and have a joint, event, whether it's, at a coffee shop where you tag teaming with someone that has a brick and mortar, or, an ice cream shop, or doing something like that. So those are some creative things to create those special events that you can then not only make an event within Facebook, but then also market that on Facebook. Again, show versus tell, make sure you have that. And then farm your local area with the power of predictive analytics. So essentially, industry expert. So if you sell a lot in Kihei area, what are the trends in Kihei? What are people looking for in Kihei? So, being able to farm that, and what's coming up? What are people transitioning to? Do you see, more retired people coming to, specifically on Kihei? Then talk about, here's some things to look for. Those kind of things go a long way when you take the time to really understand and dial in on whatever region or area that you're selling and become that local expert in terms of being able to predict what's going to happen in Kihei next, what's going to happen in Lahaina or Kapalua or wherever you are. So making sure that you look into the data of those areas and markets. Here's a couple of more. Sharpen your expired listing game. These are all great marketing contexts. Up your client communication game. Create a client score system. So Sync is a great tool, but think about it from this perspective. When all the clients or all the contacts that you have in your database, do you have some sort of system or ranking system? Like, this person is ready. How do you designate that? Maybe it's not necessarily in a client score, but A, B, C, or D. Making sure that you have some sort of system to where you can begin to say, oh, this person, I should call them because, I know based on their score, they're ready for this. Again, I mentioned it earlier, but guest blogging is huge. I cannot tell you the number of people that have begun to reach out to me for event industry guidance to write a blog for them. And it's free. And I get more exposure for event planning because of that. So don't be afraid to break out and start doing guest blog writing, because that's a huge, huge, huge opportunity. I mentioned power teams. So one of the examples that I have, it's really event industry related, but for me, I work out of my home, and I know some of you probably do as well. And so when I first started my business, I looked into partnering with someone that was in the event industry but had a brick and mortar. So I reached out to them. We tag teamed, so I was able to post have all of my flyers. All of those things were in that person's store. She happened to be a florist. And so it was like this great synergy, because she would have people coming into her store, getting ready for an event or looking for resources. And whenever they would say, well, do you know a planner or do you know whatever, she would then give them my contact information. So thinking outside the box in terms of what are your power teams, whether that's a cleaning company, whether that's a pest control company, whatever it is, think about those power relationships. And then getting out there and meeting people, team up with other agents, either on neighbor islands or mainland, to basically maximize your outreach. Incorporate client reviews. That's huge. We're going to touch on that next week in terms of making sure that you activate and have your client reviews on Facebook so people can begin to look at your client reviews. And then authentically put your community first. Integrate them in creative marketing. What I mean by that is a concrete example. So I am the board chair for Big Brother, Big Sister Maui. So I post periodically about stuff that's going on. I don't necessarily post about me being the chair. I post about Big Brother, Big Sister of Maui in terms of what they're doing. And so I'm letting my followers know that, hey, I'm invested in the community. You know, here's a great organization that not only I support, that you could support too. So I don't put about what I'm doing. I just put about what the organization or the nonprofit is doing. Join local organizations. Questionnaire. How many of you, show of hands, chat, whatever, how many of you have a questionnaire that your clients complete? I'll look and see if anybody puts one in the chat.
Great idea. Like, do you mean specifically, like, if you have a person trying to purchase real estate, like you have a questionnaire for them, so you know?
Yeah. Yeah. So like people that contact you and say, hey, you know, I want you to be, you know, I want you to help me find a home. Do you send them a questionnaire?
It's a great idea. I never done it, but I think it's a great idea.
I would consider doing it. Even if it's a 5-question questionnaire. The reason is because you want to get to know your clients. You want to get inside their heads and so if you see a listing coming up and you know all these things in the back of your head about, you know, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, you can be like, oh, this is going to be great for you because I remember in your questionnaire you put blah, 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 blah. It does many things. Obviously, it's going to work towards getting you a sale. But number one, they're going to be reinstated with the fact that, oh my goodness, it's just really, you know, she cares about us. She listens to us. She hears us. Those are all the things that you want your clients to experience. So I would really encourage you to come up with some sort of questionnaire. And then Michelle mentioned in a previous post about self-promotion. So again, I don't promote myself. I promote the organization in terms of what they're doing. So I'm very, very aware of that. I don't promote myself. I just promote Big Brother, Big Sister. There are times, you know, when I'll share something that I'm doing, but majority of the time, 99% of the time, I'm talking about that organization that I happen to be a member of. And then Riley wanted to know, I'll see if I can make it bigger. Any other comments or questions? Okay. Okay, so Facebook Essentials Part 2. This is what you need to get ready for, and we're going to talk through this, and then I'm also going to jump on a couple of things before we wrap up. So making sure for getting ready for Part 2. Do you have a personal page? If you don't, and this is all Facebook, if you don't have a personal page, make sure you have a personal page. You've got essentially a week and a half to get one. If you don't have a business page, I'm going to hopefully walk you through that really quickly for those of you that don't have one. But making sure that you have a business page. Then if you don't have your Facebook Manager account set up, make sure that you do. If we don't have enough time to talk about it and I don't get a chance to get to it, email me and I can send you some videos, or we can schedule one-on-one for those of you that want to, and I can walk you through all 3 steps. So business page, a couple things I want to reiterate. How effective are you leveraging your Facebook cover page? Select the perfect post by considering the following. So as we start getting ready to actually make sure we have our business page, make sure we have our Facebook Manager, let's get ready to create the perfect post. And I know people say there's no such thing as perfect, but we're going to create a perfect post. So what do existing customers love about your company or product? Those are some things that you want to start thinking about, making sure that you hit those indicators every single post, capitalizing on what you do best. What challenges are people having that your service product can address? Going back to Riley's example, in terms of, you know, the owner needed to declutter and stage the house. So, you know, making sure that you address the things that you can do for your potential clients or clients. How can you differentiate yourself from other realtors? The one thing I want to caution you on is don't get caught up in making sure that you're different. Get caught up in just being you. You're going to be able to stand out by just being you, your authentic self. So don't get caught up in, thinking that you got to sit down and figure out how you're different. Just be you. That is how you're different. So don't get caught up in, how do I do that? Just be you. And then account set up for Facebook Manager. And again, if we don't get to it today, if you need help with any 3 of those, I'll be more than happy to schedule time with you to make sure you have your business page set up. We can take a look at your bio, and then also making sure that you have your Facebook Manager account. Questions? Any questions? All right, couple of things I want to go over before I wrap up.
Hey, Latasha, I'm not sure how because Keone asked us during the Ignite class to hop on your class for an hour. Do we now?
So if you need to jump off, please do so, and then just email me later. If you have follow-up questions. Yeah.
Yes, thank you so much. That was wonderful. Thank you for the presentation.
Okay.
Right.
So for those of you that are still here,
Latasha, what is a Facebook Manager account?
Great question. So a Facebook Manager account is this. So when you create, so Terry, do you have a Facebook, a business page?
Yes.
Okay. So oftentimes whenever you're trying to really establish yourself and being able to place ads on Facebook, you want to make sure that you go into a separate platform. It's still connected, but basically what you're doing is you're setting up your account, if you will, to be able to advertise successfully on Facebook. So that separate account will allow you to, outside of command. So, because some people are slowly getting into command, it allows you to be able to advertise successfully. So you can, you can add your credit card. You can add your demographics. So remember at the very beginning, I talked about not just buyers, but like the age of the buyer, where they live, all of those things. You can add those target groups all in there. And it also allows you to do a quick 30,000 perspective on your SEO, meaning that have you looked at the SEO, it's a great tool for you to just log into because you'll connect it to your Facebook business page, and then you'll be able to look at those analytics so this particular ad, how effective was it? Look at the SEO, look at the number of clicks, look at the number of people that, clicked on any external links that you had. How long were they on there? What is their age group? Where do they live? So all of these things are housed on that Facebook Manager that are linked to Facebook that will help you from an SEO standpoint. Does that answer your question, Terry?
Yeah.
Okay, and I can walk you through it too.
Okay.
So just email me and I can actually show you mine.
Okay.
I don't know if I have removed my password on this because it's a different computer. Any other questions? So let's get ready for part 2. Part 2, you need to make sure you have your Facebook business page. You need to make sure that you have your Facebook Manager account. Email me if you don't have any of those 3, and I'll walk you through it, and we can take a look at the SEO and other things. Any other comments or questions before I let you go?
Yeah, when is part 2?
Part 2 is, hold on, 2 weeks from today, right? Hold on, wait a minute. I gotta get my calendar, hold on. I believe it's on the 25th. The 25th is correct, Riley. It's on the 25th.
At what time?
10. So the 25th, The link is on my KW. That's Facebook part 2. And then next Tuesday on the 23rd, Robert's going to be talking about smart plans. So on the 23rd, it'll be smart plans. And then the 25th will be a tag team of Robert and I, and we'll talk about Facebook too.
Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Keone, for allowing your class to join in.
You're welcome.
Thank
I
you.
would have attended Keone if I would have known. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Nice job.
Thanks, Anne. Hey, Robert,
Yeah,
you want to stay on for a minute?
absolutely. Yeah.
So I didn't get to, I think we can add, well, I guess we can talk about how to structure that. So in terms of the Facebook too. So I guess let's, when we meet, or hopefully we'll meet later this week, we can go through like all of the action items. But as you heard me tell them, you know, they can reach out to me and I can make sure that they're ready to go. So then we can just start, you know what I mean? Going into the actual post so we can maximize that hour. Do you have any other feedback or other suggestions?
Well, we'll see how many people reach back out to you, but I think once they get into creating the Facebook business page, there might be a couple questions, but we could forward them a video and just get them set up, or you know, you can walk through it with them. I can as well. So.
Okay. So I figured that would be great to maximize our time on Thursday the 25th, is just having them already have done that. And I'm more than happy to, you know, walk them through it one-on-one if they don't have that done.
Right. So on that, setting up a Facebook ad, we might do a couple different scenarios. There's a couple different ways to do it. I mean, you can either advertise a listing. If you don't have a listing, you can do something else. But the idea is to hook the person visually enough to get them to actually click the link.